far as the Broncos go, their quarterback situation is just hold this spot until we draft somebody next year.
Yeah, it's not good. By the way, I'm glad you reminded me that we did have those write-ups. I just noticed that I forgot Neil's when we were talking about the Panthers and the Redskins. Mm-hmm. And I'm only bringing this up because Neil had such a great line. And by the way, that does mean we're officially done with this particular game. Can we beat Carolina? No way. They're just too good for us. We have less chance of getting out of there with our dignity intact as one of Jerry Richardson's secretaries.
Wow. That was low. Real quick on the injuries for this last game. The Chargers.
I thought you already gave the injury report. Oh, I didn't mean to leave us on that note.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, let's get the injury report to clean that whole thing up. Big names on the Chargers injury report include Russell Okung and Justin Jackson, along with Germany Davis. For the Denver Broncos, we've got Shaquille Taylor, Justin Hollis, Jawan James, Von Miller, Cortland Sutton, Shelby Harris, and Duke Dawson Jr., all showing up in the injury report. Everyone listed as questionable, so good chance most of them play.
In a game that I'm sure CBS thought was going to be an interesting one, the Oakland Raiders at 6-5 versus the Kansas City Chiefs at 7-4. The Raiders are 16th in the power rankings. The Chiefs are 7th, and they are favored by 10 points. Raiders trying to ruin their quest for the 500 season. Chiefs will help them out here. We're all taking the Chiefs. I don't even understand why we need to talk much more about this game. I mean, it seems quite obvious the Chiefs are a better team than the Raiders.
Yeah, pretty much. The Raiders blew one last week. They went into East Rutherford and they stunk up the joint against the Jets. I don't even understand what that was. It resulted in Carr being benched right before halftime, as a matter of fact. So, this is – I don't see how the Chiefs – well, actually, I do see how the Chiefs can lose this game. His name is called Jacobs, the running back, rookie from Alabama for the Raiders. That's how the Chiefs lose this game, because the one thing they can't do this year is stop the run. So if John Gruden gets it in his head to pretty much go too tight end or a fullback lead and just ram it down the Chiefs' throat, they can not only keep this game close, they could actually win this game. And sorry to our Chiefs fan, your run defense is atrocious. Real quick on the injuries here, LaMarcus Joyner, Hunter Renfrow, Rodney Hudson also up on the Raiders injury report. Renfrow will be out with the ribs. For the Chiefs, Tariq Hill is nursing a hamstring. McCoy is still in concussion protocol. Alex Okafor, Damian Williams, Kendall Fuller, and Jordan Lucas also show up as questionable in the injury report for the Chiefs.
Well, our Chiefs superfan is Nick. And Nick writes in, if only the Raiders had managed to simply not get their teeth kicked in versus the Jets last week, this game would have had some stakes and suspense to it with the division on the line. But I guess the Oakland Grudens are still a year away from not being blown out by 31 points by a team that will finish 5-11. The Andy Reid Chiefs have never lost to the Raiders at Arrowhead, and Reid is ridiculously successful coming off the bye. Although it won't really be necessary to win the game, I hope the Chiefs put on a laser light show offensively to set the tone for the final month of the season. They are the healthiest they have been since September, so it's good time for a good old-fashioned beatdown of a despised rival, the final such blowout before the Raiders move to the desert. Chiefs win 42-17 over the Oakland bad haircuts. I'd like to add it will also give them false confidence as next week they come to Foxborough. For the Raiders, according to the Hall of Fame website, this is what Monty writes, there have been 18 quarterbacks to throw for 500 yards, with the record for a single game sitting at 554 yards by Norm Van Brocklin. Andy Reid has been sitting around for 13 days, wiping barbecue sauce out of his walrus mustache, hearing about how LJ is changing the game. I have a bad feeling that he's going to make a run at this record. I'm not drinking yet. If you remember back in week 2, Mahomes put up 28 points and 200 yards in the second quarter alone. Newsflash, the defensive backs that gave up this feat are on IR or the Texans roster. Joyner is questionable, but even if he does play, it is going to be a massacre. Arrowhead is going to be loud. Kansas City is going to run them out of the stadium, and the Raiders are going to head home with a 6-6 record and realize they are not a playoff team, no matter how bad the media and Jared, the Giants superfan, want that story to be true. I hope this young team learns a lot from the month of November 2019, and it helps them out next year. Stop watching Good Morning Football and start doing sit-ups. Kansas City 45, Oakland 17. Last quarterback to go for 500, you ask? Derek Carr, 2016. Stats are for losers. You can buy that t-shirt, by the way. Stats are for losers on our TeePublic site. Go to teepublic.com/nextfanup. And you can enjoy many of our wonderful t-shirts there. It really is a shame that we don't do the Superfan battles anymore because, honestly, Nick and Monty's battles are epic. They're great.
Yes,
they're wonderful. Having the two of them on at the same time, I mean, we should just make a rule that should happen every year, no matter what. But there you go. Everybody's taking the Chiefs, even our Raiders superfan predicting a blowout for the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday night football. We finally have reached my team. What do you know?
Wait, you have a team?
Yeah, the New England Patriots. They're 10-1.
Oh,
they are
in the league.
What's that?
I thought they were just sitting, waiting around in the AFC Championship game for someone to show up.
No, actually, the Patriots Invitational is at the end of the year. That's where they are in a game called the Super Bowl against an NFC opponent. That's usually how it works out. Patriots are 10-1. The Houston Texans are at home at 7-4. This is Team 3 versus Team 9 in the Superfan Power Rankings. The Patriots fall from 2 to 3, which I am very much against. Patriots favored by 3 in this game. They have won at least 10 games in 17 consecutive seasons. That's dating back to 2003 and have surpassed the San Francisco 49ers, who did it for only 16 seasons. I mean, come on. Seriously. Do better, Niners. My son, by the way, 16 years old, has never seen the Patriots with less than 10 wins. That's ridiculous. Because I've seen the Patriots with way less than 10 wins. Anyway, Pats have won their last 6 versus Houston. They are 8-1 all time versus the Texans. Tom Brady has averaged 309.6 yards per game, 16 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, and is past 5 versus Houston. That's not all the games he's ever played against Houston, just the past 5. I'm taking the Patriots. Kevin is taking the Patriots. James, your X mark is on the wrong spot here. It says the Houston Texans. I'm sure that was a mistake. You meant the Patriots.
If this game was in Foxborough, yes, but it's in Houston. I'm pretty sure it's not going to rattle anybody with the Patriots.
You did just hear me, right? The Texans have beaten the Patriots once all time.
Mm-hmm. That means it can happen again. So make it 8-2. Oh man, look, the Texans had a nice bounce back game against the Colts last Thursday. I believe they get things, cleaned up in the quote mini bye leading into this game. It won't be perfect. The best chance they'll have is to ugly this game up. The Patriots have struggled the last 2 weeks scoring points, which means 20 could theoretically win the game if you muck this game up. And the Texans could possibly do that. And that's pretty much all I got as far as leaning on the Texans. Plus, I want Baltimore to have home field throughout the AFC playoffs.
Well, that's not going to happen. So
it's either this week or next week against Kansas City, because after that, you're not losing another game. So if it's not Houston, it's got to be KC, and I don't trust KC in Foxborough, so I might as well trust Houston at home.
Well, you forget the Bills won on Thanksgiving. The Bills are a much more formidable opponent now in that last 3 games for the Patriots. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't y'all already go to Buffalo and win? That means Buffalo has to come to Foxborough.
Yeah, it does. It does. Kansas City also coming to Foxborough. Just
Right. So again, I have to pick and choose my road games where you all can lose. And since my squad couldn't find an offense in the second half 2 weeks ago, I have to go with Houston now.
Yeah, I'm just going to lean on the fact that the Patriots own Houston. This is like when Big Ben plays for the Steelers. They own the state of Ohio and Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Yeah.
So New England owns Houston. I mean, Houston even has stolen the Patriots color scheme. They've got navy blue and red and white. Yeah, it's. I mean,
let me cut you off right now for the injury report.
The Texans have stolen all of the Patriots' backup coaches. The assistant coaches. That's what the Texans have on their staff.
Okay, moving on to the injuries here. Lonnie Johnson, Bradley Roby, cornerbacks are both questionable. Mike Adams, safety, is questionable, and Carlos Watkins, defensive end, has a hamstring injury. He shouldn't miss the game on Sunday. For the Patriots, you can probably attest to this better than I can because there's only 4 names. They're all on offense, except for Jason McCourty, cornerback.
That was a surprise miss last week. We did not know anything about McCourty missing the game. So the fact that he's still on the injury report is still a surprise.
Okay, Damian Harris, running back.
He's pointless. We don't need to worry about Damian Harris until maybe next year.
And a pair of receivers, Sanu and Dorsett.
Dorsett has been in concussion protocol. I would suspect he will come out of concussion protocol for this particular game. Sanu apparently tried to give it a go before the game last week, and they decided to play it safe and keep him out of that game. My guess is the weather was the biggest factor there. I would like to see Sanu back on the field because I do think he's developed a little bit of chemistry with the 42-year-old quarterback who threw much better than Dak Prescott in the rain and the wind. I'm just saying Mohamed Sanu would be a big help for that offense. The other thing to note is the silent killer got Marcus Cannon last week in the rain and the wind. He was coming back from dealing with the silent killer. Reports said that he barely had enough strength to put his uniform on, and yet he still played. He did not play very well, I'd like to add. And Isaiah Wynn returned at the left tackle position. The rookie, he played okay, but I think I mentioned this before, as we've learned from AT&T, okay is not okay. Isaiah Wynn hopefully will get a little bit better as the season progresses. This is the month. I mean, the Patriots always say Thanksgiving is when you check it off, and that's when you really find out who your team is. The fact that they're already 10-1, I have a feeling we're going to know Patriots are going to go into the playoffs nice and strong. They'll be ready for the Patriots Invitational at the end of the season.
Yeah, whatever. Enough talk about your squad. Monday Night Football.
Well, that's a great transition, James. I'm glad you took it. I'm glad you guys are learning from me how to do these transitions. It's fantastic. The Minnesota Vikings are 8-3. The Seattle Seahawks 9-2. By the way, 2 good games on Monday Night Football on back-to-back weeks. What is going on? How is this being allowed? The NFL.
What do you mean 2 good games?
Well, I mean, last week. Last week may not have been.
It didn't live up to the hype.
It may not have met the preview. We can't look back with whatever
2020 vision. Yes, I can.
Point was 2 winning teams were playing last week, and 2 winning teams are playing again this week on Monday Night Football. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to get lousy teams on Monday Night Football. The Seahawks are 4th in our power rankings. The Vikings are 6th in the power rankings. So, two top 10 teams. How about that? 2 top 10 teams in the power rankings. Last week, I believe the Rams were in the top 10.
No, they weren't.
No, they were only 15. All right, never mind.
No, they weren't. Not with that record.
Back to this one. The Seahawks are favored by 3 points at home, which I don't think is enough, quite frankly. Russell Wilson, first quarterback in NFL history to lead his team to a winning record in each of his first 8 seasons. And I don't think the winning is going to stop here. Seahawks have won the past 4 versus the Vikings. Mike Zimmer, 0-2 versus the Seahawks